Embracing fear, your secret weapon for extraordinary success. Welcome to the Black CEO Podcast, where we're about to embark on a journey that will challenge your perceptions, ignite your spirit, and potentially change the course of your life. Today, we're diving deep into a conversation that's not just thought provoking, it's action demanding. I recently had the incredible privilege of interviewing Keyona Upshur, a true force of nature in the world of personal development and entrepreneurship. Keyona isn't just a success story. She's a catalyst for change, a beacon of hope, and a living testament to the power of embracing fear. Her insights are about to revolutionize the way you think about fear, success, and owning your life. So buckle up, open your mind, and get ready for a transformative experience. Let me hit you with a question that might make you squirm in your seat. What if the very thing you've been running from your entire life is actually the key to unlocking your greatness? Yes, I'm talking about fear, that heart pounding, palm sweating, stomach churning feeling you get when you're about to step outside your comfort zone. We've all been there, right? But here's the kicker. What if I told you that fear isn't your enemy, but your secret weapon? Now, I can almost hear the skepticism through your headphones. Fear, a secret weapon? Come on, you must be joking. But I assure you, this isn't some feel good nonsense or new age mumbo jumbo. This is real talk, backed by science, psychology, and the lived experiences of some of the most successful people on the planet. And today, we're going to unpack this idea and show you how to harness the power of fear to catapult yourself to heights you've only dreamed of. Let's start with a hard truth. Success isn't going to show up at your doorstep because you played it safe. It's not hiding under your bed or chilling in your fridge. Success is out there beyond your comfort zone, hanging out with risk and opportunity. And the only way to get to it, you got to walk straight through your fear. Think about it. Every great achievement in history, every breakthrough, every moment of triumph, it all started with someone facing their fear head on. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't change the world by staying quiet. Oprah didn't build an empire by playing small. And you, my friend, aren't going to reach your full potential by letting fear call the shots. Keyona shared a story that hit me like a ton of bricks. She talked about a time when she was offered a major speaking engagement. We're talking big stage, influential audience, career defining moment. And you know what her first instinct was? To say no, to run away, because the thought of standing in front of all those people sharing her ideas terrified her to her core. But here's where it gets good. Instead of backing down, she leaned in. She looked fear in the eye and said, "Not today, Satan." She prepared like her life depended on it, practiced until her voice was hoarse, and when the day came, she walked onto that stage like she owned it. And you know what? She didn't just survive, she thrived. The audience was captivated. Her message resonated. And in that moment, she didn't just overcome her fear, she used it as fuel. That adrenaline, that nervous energy, it made her sharper, more focused, more alive than she'd ever been before. This right here is what I'm talking about. Fear isn't just something to overcome, it's a tool to harness. It's your body telling you, hey, this matters, this is important. And when you embrace that feeling instead of running from it, magic happens. But let's keep it real for a second. I'm not saying it's easy. Facing your fears is hard work. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. But you know what's even harder? Living with regret, wondering, what if for the rest of your life, because you were too scared to take a chance. Keyona introduced me to a concept that's been a game changer in my life, and I bet it will be for you too. It's called fear setting instead of goal setting. Here's how it works. Instead of just focusing on what you want to achieve, you take a hard look at what you're afraid of. What's the worst that could happen if you take that risk? And here's the kicker. What's the cost of inaction? What opportunities are you missing out on because you're too afraid to try? Let me break it down for you with a real world example. Say you're terrified of starting your own business. The worst case scenario, you fail, lose some money, and have to go back to a regular job. But the cost of inaction, missing out on financial freedom, the chance to build something meaningful, the opportunity to leave a legacy. When you look at it that way, suddenly the fear of failure doesn't seem so scary, does it? This is about more than just facing your fears. It's about owning your life. It's about saying, I'm the author of my story, and I'm not letting fear write the chapters. Because here's the truth. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you know. And every time you face a fear, you prove that to yourself. Keyona shared another powerful insight that stuck with me like glue. She said, fear is just a hurdle, not a wall. Think about that for a second. A hurdle is something you can jump over, something you can train for. A wall that stops you in your tracks. by reframing fear as a hurdle, you're already halfway to conquering it. But it's not just about individual moments of courage. It's about cultivating a mindset of fearlessness. It's about waking up every day and choosing to be bold, to take risks, to push yourself beyond what's comfortable, because that's where growth happens. That's where you become the person you're meant to be. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but what if I fail? What if I make a fool of myself? Well, let me tell you something. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of failures, lessons learned, and resilience. Keyona talked about reframing failure as feedback. Every time something doesn't go as planned, it's not a reflection of your worth or your potential. It's information, it's data you can use to do better next time. And trust me, there will be a next time because you're not going to let one setback stop you. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times. But do they give up? Do they decide walking isn't for them? Hell no. They get back up, wobble a bit, and try again and again and again until one day they're running circles around everyone. That's the mindset we need to cultivate, that relentless determination, that refusal to stay down. Because every time you get back up, you're not just recovering, you're getting stronger, you're building resilience, grit, and the kind of confidence that can't be shaken. But here's the thing, this journey isn't just about you. When you start facing your fears, when you start taking risks and pushing boundaries, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of courage in a world that often feels paralyzed by fear. Keyona shared a powerful example of this ripple effect. After her big speaking engagement, a young woman approached her, tears streaming down her face. This woman had been dreaming of starting her own nonprofit for years, but was too scared to take the leap. Seeing Keyona on that stage, owning her power and sharing her message, gave this woman the courage to finally pursue her dream. Within a year, she had launched her organization and was making a real difference in her community. That's the ripple effect of fearlessness. When you face your fears, you give others permission to face theirs. You show the world what's possible when you refuse to let fear hold you back. Now, I want to share a personal story that illustrates just how powerful this mindset shift can be. A few years ago, I was offered an opportunity to speak at a major industry conference. The catch? It was in front of 5,000 people, and I had never spoken to a crowd larger than 50. The old me would have politely declined it, citing scheduling conflicts or some other excuse, but I had just started embracing this new philosophy of using fear as fuel, so I said yes. And let me tell you, the weeks leading up to that conference were some of the most terrifying of my life. I had nightmares about forgetting my lines, tripping on stage, or worse, being booed off. But I channeled that fear into preparation. I practiced my speech in front of mirrors, friends, even my dog. I visualized success. I embraced the butterflies in my stomach as a sign that I was about to do something important. The day of the conference arrived, and as I stepped onto that stage, my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. But you know what? That adrenaline, that fear-fueled energy made me more alive, more present, more passionate than I'd ever been. I delivered that speech with every ounce of my being, and the response was overwhelming. Standing ovation, people lining up to talk to me afterward, opportunities flooding in. That single act of facing my fear head on changed the trajectory of my career and my life. And it all started with the decision to embrace fear rather than run from it. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to identify one thing that scares you, something you've been putting off, something you've been making excuses about. And I want you to commit to facing it head on. Maybe it's asking for that promotion. Maybe it's finally starting that side hustle. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, I want you to look that fear in the eye and say, I see you, but you don't control me. Make a plan. Break it down into small, manageable steps, and then take action. Even if it's just a tiny step, take it. Because every step you take in the face of fear is a victory. And here's the beautiful part. The more you do this, the easier it gets. Fear doesn't disappear, but your relationship with it changes. It becomes less of a paralyzing force and more of a familiar companion, a signal that you're pushing yourself, that you're growing, that you're alive. Remember, success isn't about the absence of fear. It's about what you do in the presence of fear. It's about showing up even when you're scared. It's about taking risks even when the outcome is uncertain. It's about believing in yourself even when the voice of doubt is screaming in your ear. You are capable of so much more than you think. You have greatness within you waiting to be unleashed. And the only thing standing between you and that greatness is fear, not your circumstances, not other people's opinions, not lack of opportunity, just fear. So I'm asking you, no, I'm challenging you to stop letting fear call the shots. Stop playing small. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because let me tell you, that moment never comes. The time is now. Your life is happening right now, and every moment you spend in fear is a moment you're not fully living. Embrace the discomfort. Lean into the uncertainty, because on the other side of that fear is everything you've ever wanted. Growth, success, fulfillment. It's all there, waiting for you to be brave enough to claim it. Keyona Upshur's wisdom reminds us that we all have the power to rewrite our stories, to transform fear from a barrier into a bridge, to use it as a compass pointing us towards our true north, our highest potential. So let me leave you with this question. What could you achieve if you were fearless? What dreams could you realize? What impact could you make? What life could you create if you refuse to let fear hold you back? The answer to that question is your call to action. It's your roadmap to greatness. And it starts right now with one brave step into the unknown. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You spent the past 365 days facing your fears, taking risks, pushing your boundaries. What does that version of you look like? How do they carry themselves? What have they achieved? Now open your eyes. That future version of you is possible. It's within reach, but it requires action. It requires courage. It requires you to make a decision right here, right now, that you're going to start living fearlessly. So here's what I want you to do. As soon as this podcast ends, I want you to take one action that scares you. Send that email pitching your idea. Sign up for that class you've been eyeing. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, do it. And then come back and share your experience with our community, because your act of courage might just be the inspiration someone else needs to face their own fears. Remember, fear isn't your enemy. It's the doorway to your next big breakthrough. So walk through that door, run through it if you have to, because on the other side is the life you've always dreamed of, a life of courage, of purpose, of unapologetic authenticity. You got this. Now go out there and show fear who's boss. The world is waiting for the fearless version of you. It's time to introduce them. Thank you for tuning into the Black CEO Podcast. Until next time, stay fearless, stay hungry, and keep pushing those boundaries. Your greatness is calling. It's time to answer.